For today's project, we're going to combine woodworking with a little bit of 3D printing to make a cool project that is at the request of my daughter. So let's get started. I'm Jeff, you're watching Home Built Workshop. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to this episode of Home Built Workshop. I hope all of you are doing great. Well, my daughter has requested a project, so we all know that when someone in your household requests something, you got to build it. Many of you will already know this from past videos, but my daughter is really active in horseback riding, and she's building quite a collection of all the tack, the saddles, the bridles, the halters, all of the things. And she's requested that I build her a bridle rack. And with the holidays coming up, I think now is a perfect time to build this project. I've dug out a few slabs of Siberian Elm here. I think we can get enough material to build these. I've decided I'm going to make two smaller ones rather than one big giant one. I did consider for a moment just using this for the rack and just putting the hangers on there. But I think I want to spend a little bit more time than that, make this maybe a little bit nicer. The downside is that I'm not going to be able to use this entire piece. There's some bad material down here. We're going to have to cut this off and then see what we can get for a board here. So I think really our first step is going to be to just start breaking this down into whatever usable material we can get. I've got a dimension in mind. I think we can hit that dimension and make this work. First, I just want to make a few measurements just to make sure I'm in the right ballpark. If I cut this off kind of right in this area, there's a big crack here. There's a little bit of a, I don't know, kind of a spalted or more of a punky spot here. So pretty much anything from here down is bad. And that dimension is going to be roughly the same on both of these pieces. This one's going to get cut somewhere in this area. I'm not super concerned with the length yet. As long as I know this is longer than what I'm going to need, then I can trim this off. We'll get rid of the parts that I know for a fact are bad, and then we'll trim these down, kind of roughly straight line them to get a usable board out of that. Smash that like button if you've ever gotten to a project, started into it, and then think you kind of want to change your vision for what you wanted this project to look like. I might be at that spot right now. Initially, I envisioned this as almost exactly like the hat rack that I made not too long ago, with the sort of decorative cutouts in the corners and that sort of thing. I kind of envisioned it having that exact same kind of style. But as I've placed these two pieces here on the table, I'm kind of changing my mind, I think. Both of these pieces sort of have the same arc to them. They're about the same width. They're really almost identical. And I kind of like that live edge look as well. My thought was initially to cut these down into, I don't know, 6 or 7 inch wide boards, whatever we ended up getting. And I think there's nothing wrong with that, but I don't know, as I'm looking at this, I really like this kind of live edge, more rustic look. And I think that's what we're going to go with. There's no particular reason that these need to have the exact same look as the hat stand. They're not going to be mounted in the same place, so I don't really need that continuity of the design. So we're just going to stick with it, I think, and we're going to make this live edge. It's going to make it a little bit easier on one hand, but a little bit more work on another hand. Either way, we still need to flatten these out and get the boards cleaned up. So I think really we need to send them through the drum sander. As a side note, just in case you're curious, I've been asked before, hey, why don't you get a planer? You're always using your drum sander for thicknessing tasks. The quick answer is I've got a planer. It's a little benchtop unit, but the problem with it is it's a pretty inexpensive unit, and as a result, it's got really bad snipe on either ends that, depending on the piece you're working on, can be really hard to remove. It doesn't do a very good job. It's not very powerful, so it's really hard to feed boards through. It's a lot easier, and I get a lot better results if I just put some 40 grit belts on my drum sander and send it through a couple extra passes. It really doesn't take all that much longer, as long as I don't have a ton of material to remove. If I do, then I will break out the planer and just hog off what material I can and then finish it up on the drum sander. But that's why I always use my drum sander for thicknessing. Now that these are cleaned up and flattened, I need to cut them to size. I initially broke them down oversized, just a rough cut, but now I want to get them cut to almost exactly the same size. And on this piece especially, I need to adjust the angle on the end. I want it to kind of taper inward just slightly so that the arc kind of matches. Looking at these two pieces, I believe the angle right here and here is okay. I'm fine with that angle. It's this end and this end that I want to adjust. So what I'm going to do is just flip the piece over. I'll line up the edge here that's good. I'm going to roughly just eyeball this angle here. And now, if I adjust my saw so I can cut through both pieces at the same time, we'll have the exact same angle on the ends of both of these. You can see I'm cutting off some of the length here because this one is a little bit long. That'll cut them both to the same length and the same angle. I've got my circular saw set so that it'll cut through the thickness of both of these pieces, and we're ready to cut. Now, if I double check the measurements, we're about 50 inches at the top and about 48 inches at the bottom. Close enough. I like it. When it comes time to mounting the hangers on here, I don't want to just put them in a straight line. It'd look kind of weird since these pieces are curved. I want to follow that natural curve of these live edge boards. So to do that, I need to lay out sort of a center line that follows that curve. To lay out the center line, I just measured the center at several points along the arc of this board. Then, after locating the actual center of the piece, I just sketched in a center line roughly following those pencil marks I made. There we go. Now I've got a rough center line. Is it 100% exact? No, and that's okay, as long as it is roughly centered in the piece and it follows the curve of the board. That's all I'm worried about. With that center line laid out now, we need something to actually mount on that center line. I think we're going to utilize the 3D printer for this one, so let's head inside and I'll show you in my CAD program what I came up with. In my CAD program, this really started out with what looks like a ridiculous amount of circles, but I was able to do some sketches in several different planes to create a rough sketch of what I wanted to design. Once I had all those sketches complete, I could extrude a lot of that into bodies, and then we have what is my final design for this bridle hanger. You can see we've got some bolt holes in here, screw holes rather, that'll hold it securely to our board. We've got a nice rounded profile here, which will hold our bridles and halters, and then we've got a sort of a little hook here where you can hang lead ropes and that sort of thing. I think it's going to work out perfect. Of course, it's nice and flat right on the back. It's going to work great. I just need to print a bunch of these off. So it's time to load up the X1C and keep this thing busy for quite a few hours. I don't know why, but I never seem to get tired of watching these 3D printer time-lapse videos. It looks so cool. Here's our first hanger right off the printer. Turned out really good. The only problem is it takes about 3 hours and I need to print 13 more. This is going to take a little while. And it's at this point in the video where, for some reason, the next 4 or 5 video clips don't have any audio. So I'm just gonna have to voice over. We'll go to the little picture-in-picture or something like that, and we'll voice over to keep this project rolling along, just so you know what's going on. After several days on the 3D printer, I can now start working out the spacing of these hangers on these boards. I don't want to have excessive space between them because then I'm sort of wasting space, but I also can't have them smashed together with no space in between. So these ended up being about 7 inches apart, I think is going to work perfectly. Once I had the spacing worked out, I used my drill with a self-centering drill bit to drill pilot holes to mount these hangers in place. We're not actually going to mount the hangers at this point though, but I want the holes there because the next step, well, that's the funnest one yet. Sanding. And it looks like the audio's back, so you don't have to listen to me voice over. You can listen to the sander for a second. After sanding these pieces up to 220 on the front and back, I decided to address the saw cut end of each of these boards. Since I ended up keeping the live edge of these pieces instead of cutting them down into regular square boards, I figured this saw cut end looked a little out of place. So I grabbed my trusty Shinto rasp as well as a few other rasps and sort of just rounded over the edge in kind of a random pattern. Really no specific shape I was going for. I just kind of wanted to round it off, make it look just a little bit uneven, kind of like the live edge does. Now I'll just break the edges just a little bit using this sanding block, just so there's nothing sharp. I'm a mess. With all that fun sanding out of the way, I think we're ready to apply a finish on these. We're going to apply a few coats of just regular spray lacquer to these. The biggest reason is because I want a film building finish, which lacquer is, and a film building finish is one that sits on the top of the piece of wood or whatever it is you're applying the finish to, and it builds up layers. The reason I want to use it for this particular project is because the environment this is going to be in, this is going to be in a, I don't know, a barn, a shed, some sort of environment where it could be exposed to who knows what, all sorts of different elements. It's not going to be outside or anything like that, but I want something that protects the wood and keeps dirt and that sort of thing from soaking into it. So that's why I'm going to go with just a normal lacquer, really simple, but it's going to be durable and give this some good protection. That way it'll withstand any sort of environment that these things are subjected to. That was a little bit of a tongue twister. Shake well before using. While it's still pretty fumy in here, the finish is dry to the touch. I probably should let this sit overnight to finish curing and off gas a little bit more, but we're just gonna power through and get this wrapped up. If you see me getting woozy from the fumes, then remind me to open a door. From here on out, really, there's not a whole lot of technical stuff that we need to do. It's just a matter of attaching our bridle hangers. I forgot to cover these up, so now they have all kinds of dust and overspray on there. So we're just gonna wipe those off real quick and get these laid out. For now, I've got just this red and the blue colors. I thought about alternating them. I think we're just gonna go with all one color on one. We can swap those out later if we need to for whatever reason. I've got some brass screws that I'm going to use to hold these on. The only downside of these particular screws is that they've got a flat head. We'll make sure we wax the threads like I like to do and start attaching these bridle racks. Now, you've heard me a lot of times say, don't use an impact driver for stuff like this. You don't want to break the screws off. And that still holds true. But given how many screw holes I have between both of these racks, I might consider using an impact driver on the lowest setting. I don't know, we'll see how things go. This is not like we're driving screws into a piece of hard maple or something like that. With so many screws to drive in by hand, I figured there's got to be a faster way. I don't want to use an impact driver because these are brass screws. I don't want to break them off. I had an idea. I got my grandpa's old brace here. I put in a flathead bit, kind of a weird contraption. That way I had enough space to reach the screws. I think this is going to work good. Oh, that works great. I left the chuck just a little bit loose. That way, when it gets tight, the chuck will slip a little bit rather than risking snapping off the screw. Long as I'm paying attention, I think it's going to be okay. The only tricky part really is getting the screw started. But once the screw started in the pilot hole, we're off to the races, as they say. Make sure it's nice and clean. And with that, our bridle racks are complete. These turned out really good. I really like the way they look. This live edge Siberian Elm 3D printed bridle hooks. Super cool. Let me show you exactly how this is going to work, although I'm sure you can probably figure that out. Let's just temporarily put that in the vise. We'll pretend that it's hanging on a wall. The only thing I really have here in the shop to demonstrate is some rope, but I think you'll get the idea. So this upper section is used to hang your bridles or your halters or whatever. This helps to protect the shape. And then this lower section, you can hook your rope on there. Keeps everything separated and neatly organized. I've got these spaced out enough to where you can hang two side by side and there's enough room in between. Things aren't getting tangled. It's going to work perfectly. And with that, this project gets checked off the list. Another one complete. Really happy with the way this bridle rack turned out. The Siberian Elm, the 3D prints, super cool. I know my daughter's going to love it and going to get a lot of use out of this bridle rack. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Let me know what you thought down below in the comments. And also, give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, found it helpful, or whatever. Thanks a lot for watching. We'll see you next time. All right. How am I going to get this inside without anybody seeing? Come on, rope. Don't let me down. Let's go. Let's go. Time to go inside.